How you doing? Duff here, and you are looking at our 2007 Prius, and you're not going to believe what I got to do again. The headlight bulbs. I have to look back and see when I first did this, when I replaced the headlight bulbs. But after I replaced them, it's been less than a year, I know that. Since I replaced them, they both went out again within several months. I replaced them both again, and now they are both out again. So this will be my third time. I noticed the one was out probably a week and a half ago, and then just yesterday I realized that the other one was out. When I was driving to work in the morning, I had no headlights. I'm like, oh, this is great. So yeah, I'm not sure why I'm getting such poor lifespan out of the bulbs, but I've decided to approach the problem differently this time instead of just throwing another set of halogens in. What I've done is I've bought a set of LED bulb replacements. These are by Lumen. These are the Lumen H4s, and I bought this off of carid.com, and they were not cheap. Halogen bulbs, maybe a replacement for them cost $30 total. These with shipping were like 150 bucks. So my hope is they will be worth the investment, and they will be the last set of bulbs I need to put on this car during my ownership of it. So it's sort of interesting. When I opened this up and looked at this before, in theory this should actually be a lot easier to install than the normal halogens, because I don't have to futz with trying to get the bulbs connected back in once I remove them, which is the most aggravating part of this. So in theory, I think this might actually be easier than doing a normal halogen bulb replacement. Alright, for those of you that have never seen me do this before, it's hard to believe because I've done it so much. You first got to remove this plastic shroud right here. There's a bunch of these like plastic crappy screw things that have to remove first. So I'm going to take out about half a dozen of them and pull this off. Alright, put this over here for safekeeping. Okay, the other thing that has to come out is, well, there's a couple things. The fuse box cover comes off. There's just just squeeze this here and it kind of releases all the other tabs. And the reason you take that off is just to give yourself a little bit more clearance when accessing the headlight area. Over on the passenger side, this little piece comes off. I'm not sure what the technical name for it is, but again, it's one of these lovely push pin deals where you just, and then just lift that whole piece out. Oh, it looks like it's actually an air intake for the air box, I think. Okay. Alright, so those pieces are off. So next, you need to, oh wow, okay, this little like rubber cover deal here. Okay, right there's the light. Right here's the light connector, so you should be able to just kind of wiggle that back and forth and get that to come off. It comes off a lot easier than it goes on when you're doing normal halogens. And then this rubber cover on top here, just you rotate it counterclockwise and it'll come loose. That's what it looks like. Over on the driver's side, we're going to do the same thing. Let's see if we can pop the camera here. Okay. Harness off, and then I'm going to just rotate this counterclockwise. This one's being a little bit more problematic. feels like it's actually getting stuck on the prongs of the actual bulb itself. All right, so got both of those annoying rubber covers off. Now you actually need to get the old bulb out, and the way you do that is there's a spring here that hopefully I can feel. Okay, there it is. Alright, not sure how well you can see that. This little spring you push in and up, and now the bulb itself should be loose. And here is my bulb that no longer functions. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with that. Yes, okay. Spring, push it in and up. Okay. Get out of the way, and the bulb releases. So like I mentioned, one of the biggest pain in the ass parts of replacing these halogens normally is once you put them in and you put that little rubber boot back on, then you're feeling around blind to get the actual socket connector back on. The cool thing with this LED setup is actually I'm going to be installing them, and then this wire harness will be sticking out the rubber boot, which in turn goes to this, and then this is what actually gets plugged into your light socket. So there's absolutely zero problems with getting access to it. So that's kind of cool. So when you're installing these, and the same thing applies to the halogens, the way that I believe it's oriented is it goes like this. These two tabs are at the bottom, this one's at the top, and there's like a flat section at the bottom. So let's see how easily these fit back in. Alright, so I'm looking in the front here, even though these headlight lenses are less than clear. I'm just trying to get everything lined up as best I can. Alright, I'm still futzing with this thing, and the issue is trying to get a halogen bulb in to that slot, and to engage with the factory spring is much easier than trying to get this in there. That little hold down clamp seems to be in the way, and I'm trying to come up with a way to get this in and locked into place. Okay, luckily didn't have the camera rolling during all that frustration. I glanced at these instructions prior to starting, but I guess it didn't click until I looked back at it again. Basically, what it's showing here is you take the body of the light. Let me show you. Okay, here's the other light. This metal bracket, pull on it, it slides off. You install just the bracket itself, clamp it in, and then insert the light through it. There's a little like locking bearing right there. So yeah, I've been screwing with this for probably half an hour, and that's why it's impossible to install all in one piece like this, or get that clamp to engage this way. So yeah, don't do that. I mean, I actually was getting so frustrated that I started to remove the bolts here for the headlight. I'm like, okay, well maybe I can just take the damn headlight off so I can get access to it to work the clamp. And yeah, I saw two bolts, and I thought I could get off with 2 bolts, but that I cannot. So that plan would not have worked. So I'm just going to put these bolts back on and then try to install things like the manual actually says. Alright, so I don't know how visible that is through my pretty shitty lens here, but right right there is the bracket. The bracket for the center of the light. That's the way it orients itself, and it mustn't have that spring in right because it just popped right out. Alright, so now I'm going to try to slide in the light through here. I'm trying to get the light through the housing. This is going to... Oh boy. This is fun. Run into this. Oh boy. Alright, let's see some different issues now. Okay, I have, probably can't see shit there, but I have the one LED in place right there. Another thing that becomes apparent is there's no way that these are going back on with that in place. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe if you probably could put these back on if you really wanted to. No, maybe. I guess I'll try it for the hell of it, but I think the main thing this gives you is like some water protection. So I don't know. I'm not going to lose sleep over not putting this back on if I can't get it on. Okay, so once I got the bracket in, especially here on the passenger side, I had a hard time being able to get the bulb aligned because of these connectors here. So I disconnected these two connectors right here to just give me, I had just enough space to get it lined up and through the hole. So you're going to probably have to do the same thing. Alright, so just for the hell of it, I'm going to try to put these rubber boots back on. They're normally like this, but because of the extra electronics on the LED, I'm going to push this out like this, like that. Feed the wire through it and see if it will still lock on. I don't know that it will. And like I said, I'm not going to lose any sleep if it doesn't. Oh wow, there we go. It's on. Okay, these are these connectors. Here's the light. Let me just put these other connectors back on before I forget. Okay, back on. Alright, so if I could get it in on one side, I would imagine I should be able to get it in on this side as well. This rubber boot. So let's try it. Okay, got that freaking boot on. There we go. Here's my light harness. So, obviously, before I go much further, I need to hook up the lights and make sure that everything works, huh? Probably be a good idea. Alright, so I'm going to grab my little dongle here. Of course, I have stuck around the other shit. Oh man, back really hurts when you do this for a long time. Stay in a hunched over position. Alright, so let's line this up. This is keyed. There's a little screw connector to lock that in place. And then I'm going to plug it into the light harness itself. And we're going to repeat on the other side. Alright, so unfortunately I don't have a before picture to give you because both the lights are out, obviously. So all you're going to get is an after. So let's cross our fingers that we actually have some light. Nice. We have light. So the manual for the lumen says that you can, I guess, you can rotate the bulbs to adjust the pattern or something like that. I'm hoping my pattern's just fine as is, because I don't feel like ripping into it again. So basically, what I need to do yet is the electronics here that are used for the LEDs. I just need to zip tie that out of the way. Somewhere that it's not going to be in harm's way. So let me do that. I just opened up this little side box here. Actually, I thought it was just packing, but inside it are these additional wiring harnesses. It looks like it converts DC 12 to 14 volts for some reason. Maybe that's necessary in some applications. I don't know. I'm assuming it's not in mine because the light seems to be working fine, so I guess I'll hold on to these just in case, but it doesn't really say in the instructions where you would need to use that, what situation, so I don't know. Alright, on this side I've just tied it up underneath here, under the frame here. On this side, to be honest with you, I didn't tie it up at all. I just have it, there's a nice little open space here next to the air intake. I just have the wires tucked in there. I think they should be fine. Okay, just put the air intake back on. Fuse box cover back on. Okay, have the front cover back on. Really, I should just need to get my tools put away and button it up. Alright, so there you go. Like I said, I thought that this was going to be a pretty easy project, and yeah, it certainly was not. The product itself, it seems, you know, it seems solid. I didn't pay close enough attention to the instructions, obviously, because there was no way in hell I was going to be able to get that thing in without separating the mounting bracket from the actual bulb itself. It was literally impossible, and I spent, like I said, well over half an hour futzing with it, screwing with that spring, trying to get the angle right, and yeah, you didn't get to see a lot of that, but I was really frustrated. So anyways, like I said, these are expensive. You know, 150 bucks shipped. It's a lot of money compared to regular halogens, but you could look at it from the viewpoint that if you're doing it yourself, if you had regular halogens put in and you paid someone to do it, like a dealer for example, you're going to probably spend more than $150. You'll probably spend 200 bucks at least. So if you look at it that way, maybe it's worth the investment. The true test for me is going to be if these hold up. You know, if I am finally free from headlights going out, and I can only hope that's the case. So I'll be sure to report back. I'll have a link below to the actual LEDs that I installed. I'll be sure to update you as far as how it works out. And that's it. Until next time, Duffman out.